guys, today's video is all about how I wash my makeup brushes and makeup sponges using Sigma's brush cleaning gadgets and brush cleaning products. Now on the 20th of June, it's actually their second annual Wash Your Makeup Brushes Day, which is a total made up holiday type of thing by Sigma, but it's a really good time of year to sort of focus on washing your brushes and why it's so important, and just share with you the products that I use in my brush cleaning, makeup sponge cleaning routine. So as most of you already know, I am an affiliate with Sigma and I do have a discount code which you guys can use all year round, which is just Hannah, and if you enter that at checkout, that takes 10% off your orders. However, to celebrate Wash Your Makeup Brushes Day, Sigma has very kindly boosted my discount code to 20% off between now and the 23rd of June. So if you use that between now and the 23rd of June, you'll get a massive 20% off your orders. Then after the 23rd of June, it just reverts back to 10% off. So there is 3 reasons you should be washing your makeup brushes. The first one is hygiene. Girlfriend, if you are not washing your brushes, you are literally putting bacteria all over your face. So it's really important to wash them, especially if you suffer breakouts and acne. Quite often, if you don't wash your brushes regularly enough and your sponges regularly enough, you can be cross-contaminating your skin and actually causing your skin to have more breakouts than what it would already without the cross-contamination. And guys, you can literally get like golden staph infections from dirty makeup brushes. Like, hygiene is the #1 reason. You do not want to be putting dirty makeup brushes all over your face because it is gross and they're just riddled with germs and bacteria. So with my blenders, I wash them every 2 days. So I'll use it 2 days in a row to apply my foundation and concealer, and then I wash them. And it's the same with your foundation brushes. I only use my foundation brushes 2 days in a row and then I wash them, just because it's just, you don't want to leave them any longer because they also get caked with so much product. Foundation brushes in particular, I would say, are the brushes that harbor the most bacteria and the most product. So you need to be actively washing them. And if you suffer with really bad acne breakouts, I would actually suggest washing them every day. So don't use the same dirty brush on your face the next day. Go for a clean brush each time, which is why I have so many brushes. I literally have like 10 foundation brushes because I like to keep using clean ones, if you know what I mean. And then with face brushes like powder brushes, so when it comes to blush and contour and eye brushes, you should wash them weekly. I'm a little bit slack in that department. I tend to do every 2 weeks, but yet again, if you're someone that has a lot of skin concerns, then it is important to be washing them every week just to make sure you're not causing more issues for your skin than what you're already dealing with. Like, it's already bad enough when you have acne. You don't want to be making the problem worse, if you know. Secondly, it's all about creating a longer lifespan of your brush. So when you think about clothes, you don't continuously wear your clothes and never wash them, because if you never wash them, they'd get really smelly, they'd get discolored, they'd get stains, all that sort of thing. So it's the same sort of theory with actual makeup brushes. So it's important to wash them to actually take care of the bristles, because if you allow them to get too gunky and filled up with product, you're actually damaging the brush itself, and then the lifespan of the brush in your collection is not going to last as long. So if you look after your good quality brushes, for example Sigma brushes, you could literally have them for 10+ years. I've already had some of my brushes for over 5 years and there is no sign of them giving out on me anytime soon, and that's all because I've looked after them from the moment I got them. And then thirdly, makeup application. If your brushes are dirty and gunked with multiple products, you're not going to get the best application when it comes to your makeup. So it's like contour brushes, for example. If you're not actively keeping on top of washing them, you're going to find that your contour is going to gradually get patchier and less blended and just not as nice as it could look. And it's the same with eyeshadow brushes too. Like, if you're using multiple different color shadows on a brush and then one day you go to do your eye makeup and it's all gunked with 50 shades of eyeshadow, you're not going to be able to apply and get the best quality out of your eyeshadow because it's going to be contaminated with so many other products, if that makes sense. So they're the 3 reasons: hygiene, longevity, and makeup application. So that's going to take me straight on in to what I actually use to clean my brushes. So I have 2 different gadgets here. I have this mat, which I will link below. I can't remember the exact name of it off the top of my head, but this is a mat that actually sits in your sink. So as you can see, it's got all various different perforated bits on it for various different washing, I don't even know the word, applications, no, washing styles. I don't know, but they're all different perforated edges. You don't have to worry about trying to figure out what each one is for because it actually does say it on the mat itself. It'll say this on all the products, so it doesn't matter if you've never seen them before and never tried them, you'll be able to grab it and figure it out pretty much straight away. So I personally like to use this particular one when I'm doing bulk brush cleaning. So quite often I try to wash brushes on a weekly basis, but if I'm being slack and I've been busy and I've stockpiled them for like a month, then I will definitely use this one. Now, as I was saying, this sits in your sink, so you need to make sure before you wash your brushes that your sink is clean. Do not put this in a dirty, gunky sink because you're literally just putting all that bacteria from your mouth and your hands that goes in your sink into your brushes. So I cannot stress enough, clean your sink before you use this. So you just pop it in, it has little suction feet on the back of it. You just sit it straight into the sink and you're ready to rock and roll. So I'll literally insert the demo, if I haven't already, of me using this to wash my brushes. So I'm going to go in with my Sig Magic brush shampoo. This is my favorite brush shampoo. It's 100% natural. It has no overpowering fragrance and I find it's quite sensitive on my hands. So I'm going to use a foundation brush this time to clean. So as you can see, a lot of products caked in the actual bristles. Now, before you go ahead and wet it, you need to make sure your water is only lukewarm. You don't want to use super hot water because if it's really hot, it'll actually loosen the glue in the ferrule and cause your brush to shed and cause chunks of it just to literally fall out. So you want to make sure you keep the brush pointing down as you're running it underwater, and you want to make sure it's just lukewarm water. So you can either spritz the actual soap directly onto your brush cleaning mat, or you can put it straight onto your brush. Because it's a foundation brush, I'm going to put a few squirts directly onto the bristles, and I'm taking it on that large perforated side, which is meant for your face brushes, and I'm just giving it a really good buff into the mat. So as you can see, it's not incredibly fluffy at the moment, and also the soap is very discolored. That's just because there's so much foundation in it. So what I do is I give it a good rub, and then I will sort of squeeze out some of that soap and go back in again and sort of lather it up a bit more. I generally do this 2 to 3 times when I'm washing a brush, depending on how much product is actually stuck within the bristles. And then now when it comes to rinsing, there is actually a perforated section on these mats that is for rinsing. So it's like the straight lines, and what you need to do is drag your brush along it in an angle. So you can do it whilst it's under running water to get all the soap out of the brush. And then once you have all the soapy water actually out of the brush, you can run it over again when there's no running water, and it'll just help to really squeeze any excess water out of the bristles. Then as you can see, after one rinse, it's pretty clean. There is just that tiny little bit of discoloration right in the center of the brush, and I feel like that's generally where most of the actual foundation sort of compacts, if you get me. So I always wash my foundation brushes at least 2 to 3 times. So I'm going to go back in with a little bit more soap, and I'm going to give it another good lather up. You'll see instantly this time it lathers up heaps more than the first time, just because there's not as much foundation and gunk left in the brush. So this will be the last time we give it a good clean, and it should get all the soap out of the actual brush. And voila, sparkling, clean, beautiful, fresh foundation brush, not a single bit of product left in the bristles. So after you're finished with the mat, it's important as well to remember to rinse it off and wash it down, because if you don't rinse it properly, it will gradually build soapy sort of residue on the actual mat. So you need to give it a good clean and then wipe it down with a towel. Next up, we're going to use the dry-in shape. So as you can see, it's got the drying mechanism on the top and on the bottom. So when you're washing your brushes, you simply detach the top and the bottom, and it leaves this little handheld barrel. So on the barrel of this, it has the exact same perforated side for face brushes as the actual mat does. So it's no different to the actual mat. This is on a barrel instead that you can hold. So I'm going to do exact same method that I did with the last brush, and I'm actually using exact same foundation brush as well. It's just the copper version. So as you can see, beautiful, fresh, dirty brush versus the brush we just cleaned. And I'm just going to be using exact same method again. So I've spritzed the product on the actual brush, and now I'm just rubbing it into the perforated part of the actual barrel, and it does the exact same thing as the mat does. I just personally prefer holding it, if that makes sense. So like, the product has no differences in how it washes your brush and how it performs. It's just that I personally like holding the barrel over having the mat in the sink. I don't know why. I literally don't know why. It's exactly the same thing, has exactly the same results. So it's just all personal preference. And I love the rinse side on the barrel in particular because it really helps to push all that extra moisture out of the bristles, and you've got a sparkling clean brush. So once I'm finished washing the brushes, I do the same thing as the mat. I give it a good rinse and then I wipe it down. I'm going to go ahead and attach the top and bottom back onto the drying shape so I can go ahead and put my actual brushes in it. So when you're inserting your brushes, you do it from the lower half and you drag it up through that little black band. That black band is designed to help press out any excess moisture and water. And what it'll also do is help to keep your bristles in shape so they won't like splay and your brush won't dry out of shape as well. So I personally really like this. It just helps to keep all my wet brushes in one compact space, and I just literally sit it on my bench and leave it there to dry overnight. Next up, it's time to wash our blenders. So with the Sigma 3D blenders, you need to be a lot more delicate with washing these compared to like a traditional beauty blender, just because the actual material that these are made out of is so much softer, and you've also got lots of those little harsh points and angles. So if you're too rough with it, you can damage the sponge and tear it, and you don't want that. So what I do is I use nice warm water and I simply run the blender under the water and I get it totally saturated. So I give it a couple of good squeezes to really get it to absorb up lots of water and get it soaking wet. So then I go ahead and I take my brush cleaning shampoo and I just give a bunch of different squirts all over the sponge, over every single bit of it. Just literally saturate it in the soap. And with the actual dispenser of the Sigma brush shampoo too, it doesn't squirt out too much per pump, so you don't have to worry about overdoing it with soap. It's not like a foundation pump, if you get me. It only does little squirts. And I just start kind of squeezing the soap through the sponge, and I put the angled part in the palm of my hand and I just start squeezing and sort of rotating the sponge, and this helps to really move the soap through it and dislodge a lot of the foundation and concealer. And I just try to be careful around those super pointy areas that I don't like pull little chunks off or anything like that. And then I'll show you up close of the actual blender. So as you can see, a lot of the foundation sort of concentrates in the tip of the actual blender. So I tend to put an extra squirt of brush soap on it, and I use my fingers and I just do very gentle sort of pinching motions to sort of help work the product out of the tip without damaging it. So you just want to be super careful when you're sort of pushing the soap through that you're not actually ripping and tearing the sponge. Just be very gentle and just kind of like pinch it, but gently pinch it, if you get what I mean. And then I just rinse it under warm water, and yet again, exact same motions. I just squeeze it under the running warm water and you'll see all the foundation start to come out of it. And I just do the squeezing, rotating motions. And then if there's still a little bit of foundation in it, I'll add a little bit more soap and just repeat the step one more time. And then give it a good old rinse out. Then I like to get a hand towel and I just like to squeeze it in the hand towel to really get out any of that extra moisture. And voila, we have a sparkling clean blender. As good as new. That's how clean it is, as good as new. So guys, that is everything I have to share with you today. If you found the video helpful, don't forget to leave me a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you're a new face, thank you so much for watching my video, and please do subscribe before you leave. As always, thank you so very much for watching, and I'll be talking to you all really soon. Bye!